You're watching PowerNation.
Today on Carcass, Project Unsanctioned takes on its biggest transformation, and we put on some final upgrades.
Then we take it out on the track and run it through all the gears.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Carcass. If you've been following along with us, we have been building our E46 into a multi-purpose track car, something that can hit the hill climbs, the autocross, and even the road course. We've done a ton of work to get it to this point, and if you haven't followed along with us, we'll catch you guys up. We started off the same way we build all of our track cars, by removing all of the interior, making way for a roll cage. After some planning, we bent up a main hoop and added all of our down bars to give the E46 some added stiffness and help keep us safe. Up next was removing the stock inline 6, sourcing a junkyard LS, deleting the active fuel management, and replacing a bunch of wearable parts. We set it in between the frame rails with the help of a kit from Summit Racing. Upgraded fuel injection was bolted on, and we fired up the LC9. The rear suspension was removed, support plates were added, and a set of coilovers were installed. To help us stop, big brakes rounded off all of the chassis improvements. Lastly, the fenders were cut, flares were riveted on, and a wing was added to help the BMW stick to the track.
And that brings us to where we stand today. We've got some big things we want to tackle. We're going to change the inside color of the car and cover up all of this bare metal. We're also going to do something pretty drastic on the outside. You guys will see that coming up here in a little bit. And then at the end of all of this, we're actually going to go out and drive this car on the track. But like I said, we got a lot of work to do. Right now, we are just prepping around the weld areas on the cage, and then we'll get inside here and kind of scuff the rest of the car up, mask it all off, and paint the inside. So in these welded areas, kind of leaves it a little bit dirty when you weld. So what we're trying to do is just knock all of that off and give it a nice clean surface for the paint to stick to. Using Scotch-Brite pads, what this does is put good etches into all of the surfaces, if it's the cage or if it's in the floor. That gives the paint something to kind of bite and stick to. Makes our paint last a lot longer, stick onto it. Especially when you're dealing with like intrusion bars like this, a lot of times you have to crawl over them. So you constantly are rubbing up against the top bar here. So make sure it's prepped well so the paint sticks really well so it can stay on there a long time. All right, so the next step here is we're just gonna kind of clean everything up with some cleaner degreaser. And final step before we move on to masking, and then we can lay down some paint. All right, well, the car's all masked off. Now it's time to paint. What we're gonna be painting the inside with is P.O.R. 15. This is their top coat. It's a direct to metal coating, so there's no need to prime anything. We're gonna go ahead and throw our masks on, and we do have an exhaust fan here in the shop, so we'll make sure and flip that on and get as much paint in here as possible, make it look good and last a long time. Now we've given the paint ample enough time to dry, and we did a really good coating on all the bare metal parts of the roll cage, so that should be protected for quite some time. And then on the inside, we gave it kind of a little bit of a dusting. Now we did that on purpose. It's not completely covered. We did that because it'll just go with the theme of the car once we do the transformation of the color on the outside. So from here, we're just gonna unmask it and see how we did. Coming up, we changed the color of the BMW, take a trip down memory lane to Miss Libby's art class. Hey everybody, welcome back. Well, the interior of the BMW went through its color change. Now it's time to focus on doing the same thing to the outside of the car, but we do have a couple things we have to do. Go ahead and hang the doors back on the car. We'll get rid of that big wang in the back, then we'll get this thing prepped and ready.
We have all the body panels back on our BMW and we're ready to make a big transformation. We have Jimmy and Micah from Graphic Effects and they are ready to put the wrap on our BMW.
Now the original plan for the car was to paint it, but to keep the cost down, we did decide to go with a wrap. These guys will have this knocked out in a couple of hours, so there's a huge time savings there as well. And by chance, if we just happen to get into a corner out on the track and have some body repairs to do, it's as simple as taking the wrap off, fixing what we need to fix, and then just putting another sheet right back over the top. These guys are ready to get started, so we're just gonna let them do their thing.
Another great benefit to a wrap is because our car was in pretty poor condition to start with, it would take a lot more work to get it to a point where it could be painted versus this wrap was done in just a few hours.
For the color that we chose for the BMW, we wanted something that really stood out on the racetrack, and it's really gonna highlight what we have planned for later. The guys over at Graphic Effects knocked this thing out of the park, but now it's our turn. We're gonna take some artistic liberties here. Got a paint marker. Let's see what we can get into. Doing a process like this, it really comes down to your artistic discretion. What we're doing is just using some paint markers to kind of highlight all of the door jambs and the big areas around the wheels and the tires to give this car a three-dimensional look. It really gives the car an animated appearance while it's flying around the track. With that final line, I think we'll call this good. We might do a little bit more here and there, but for now, we got a whole car to put together.
Stay tuned. We had a few more upgrades to round out our race car.
All right, guys, well, it's reassembly time. We've got the wrap all done, and now we're gonna put the car together. First thing we're gonna do is install the drive shaft that we had made to fit our 5-speed transmission. Now, since we did an engine and transmission swap and everything is in a different location, we need to have a custom drive shaft made. And we've showed you guys how to do this before, so we took our measurements and we went over to the guys at PEM Racing, and they whipped us up a drive shaft with the correct slip yoke to fit our TKX, and they even put on the flange in the back to match the adapter we're running on our stock differential. This is a very simple install. Slide it into the transmission, put a couple bolts back here.
Next thing on the list here is to install our wheels and tires, and if you know about BMWs, you know that they use these lug studs, which I find to be kind of a pain in the butt to use. So we went to our friends at Motorsport Hardware, and they sent us their 86mm race stud kit. This is a 12mm grade 12.9 fastener with a tensile strength of up to 180,000 PSI, so we know it's going to hold up to the rigors of track use. They come with this black zinc coating, which is going to help protect it from the elements. And these can also accept up to a 25mm spacer, so we can really dial in that wheel and tire fitment. And the best part is they're keyed for a 5mm Allen, so it makes installation really simple. Go with a little blue thread locker. Make sure these stay put. Per the instructions from Motorsport Hardware, we're going to torque these down to 25 pound-feet. And for our wheels, our friends at Konig sent us their F3S, which is a fully forged split 5-spoke wheel finished in satin charcoal. Ours is an 18 by 10.5 inch wide wheel. And because they are fully forged, it means they are extremely strong and they can make them lightweight. This wheel in particular coming in at about 18.5 pounds. We've wrapped these in Hoosier A7s in a 295/30/18, and we're going to hold it all on with Motorsports Hardware steel race nuts.
And to continue on with assembly, we're gonna go ahead and move inside here and get our racing seats installed. Jimmy's already got the brackets made, so all we have to do is get these in, bolt them down.
Get some new headlights in here.
Got her?
Yep.
Sweet, let's get the grill inserts in here and then we're almost done. All right, what do you think?
Yeah, man, almost ready to hit the track.
Yeah, I got a couple more things to do, get the steering in it, do the quick wiring job, and then we'll be out onto the racetrack ripping around.
Yep, awesome.
Up next, Project Unsanctioned hits the track.
Okay, everybody, today we are at Polecat Training Center, and today is the day that we are going to test out our BMW. Jeremy's in the hot seat, gonna lay some laps down and test out all the parts that we've thrown at this thing. How you feeling?
It's going to be a little bit different than the Camaro, but I think it'll be good.
No, it'll be cool to see out here laying it down, see what kind of times you can put in. And
everybody should see it because it's bright green.
It is bright green.
Cool.
Got sticky tires on it, and it should be fast.
Yeah, I'll get my stuff on and let's go see how it handles.
The car is extremely sticky, really, for what it is. I mean, this is lap number 1. You know, it's a lot lighter than the Camaro. Power to weight ratio here is way different. We just got a baby LS compared to what the Camaro was. A lot more shifting in this car too to keep it in the RPM range, but definitely fun. Man, these tires are just insanely sticky. Got to get used to the track again here, but sun's shining, it's a nice day, that's for sure. Try not to string it out too much. All of our engine parts, though, should be spot on, so it's really fun to drive. Jimmy did a great job setting up the driver ergonomics. Everything inside here is great. Well, lap number 1, it did great. Doesn't run hot, 195 degrees. I mean, I don't think you can get much better than that. And the simplicity and the easiness of an LS, definitely a fun track car. Lap 2 is going to be faster, though. You know, there's 2 different routes to take coming up here on turn 3, 4, somewhere around there. So you can go straight and hit the long straightaway, or you can get to the top of the hill here and take the hard left-hander, which is a little more fun, I think. And the car can definitely handle this, so kind of go in and out of these corners, try to hit my apex right. Listen to the tires, slightly self-clearance here a little bit, but when we come out of this, we got a super hard 90-degree left-hander. I think 3rd gear is where I need to be. And the brakes. Big brakes are a must in a track car, and the EBC brakes we have are just dynamite. Like, I got no problem slowing this car down at all. And then you can really kind of let the car do its thing and just kind of hang on it. Let the brakes do all the work. Especially when you're coming into the corners, but hey, we got some turkeys in the corner. They're kind of checking everything out like, what's going on? Ain't nothing better than a 5-speed manual transmission. Oh, you can just have so much fun with a manual. You feel like you're part of the car. And it's an extension of your body, really. God, this thing sticks to the ground. Holy cow. It's just so much fun. Let's see if I can hang this corner and stay in 3rd. Oh yeah, no problem.
All right, man, what do you think?
Well, I tell you what, power to weight ratio, just the combination of brakes, wheels, tires, suspension, you know, the junkyard engine that we ran through, this probably could compete with the Camaro just in pure fun factor.
Yeah, like the value versus how much fun you have. This was a much cheaper car to build.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty fast still.
Very fast and just a hoot out here on the track, so.
Yep. And we've had a great day out here at Polecat Training Center, and this is actually our last project, so we want to thank you guys for the last 5 seasons of Carcass and tuning in. We'll see you guys around.
Hopefully you learned something. We'll catch you guys around the bend.